In a world where kingdoms fall and stars still remember names, this song was forged from magic memory and the dream that refused to die. Welcome to a tale where wonder still breathes. This is the fairy tale, the bridge at every sunset, a knight's vow of love and return for my beauty, created by Suspampara. If this tale stirred something in you, a memory, a dream, or a truth, our Ko-fi, Amazon, and Patreon links are in the description. Support helps us keep writing for you and the ones you hold dear. Opening poem, a song by Wiin. Lanterns drift upon the stream, chasing stars within a dream. Every glow a whispered prayer, calling him from battle's lair. Knighthood forged in fire and rain, always home, through love not chain. By the bridge, the children wait, cheeks alight. They watch the gate, mother's hum and father's cheer, knowing soon the hoop beats near. Strike the drums, the elders say, for our knight comes home today. He has walked through shadows maw, faced the fang and molten jaw, yet his heart has never strayed. Through the dark, our love was laid. Guided by 3 lantern flames, 3 soft voices call his name. Buell's firelights, the storming skies. Young's calm weeps, the waters rise. Wind sings where lilies grow, mirror and moonlight in her flow. Every thread their love was spun, weave him safe when day is done. Lanterns bright, we lift them high. Stars descend from painted sky. Hear our song, O night of dawn. Every step, come closer, dawn. Take the bridge, the sun is crowned, where your heart is homeward bound. Strike the drum and loose the string. Let the horns of welcome ring. Ride the dusk and cross the tide to the arms that wait with pride. In their glow the kingdom gleams. Night of ours, return to dreams. The bridge stood as it always had, old and eternal. Its stones smoothed by centuries of footsteps, its arches cradling the river that carried lanterns like drifting stars every night. Jess waited there, his armor scarred and blackened from battles, yet polished where it battered, not for vanity but for ritual. He waited because he always did. Because as the sun slipped low and painted the sky in soft fire, Buell would come racing across it, her laughter carried in the wind, and he would be there to greet her. He stood still, watching that horizon bleed gold into violet. His fingers brushed the worn hilt of his sword, a weapon forged not to conquer, but to protect, etched with lines from the claws of worms, the teeth of ogres, the flame of dragons. He thought of them as he always did. Buell, fierce and bold, whose grin dared the world to challenge her. Young, serene, and steady as starlight, who anchored him with quiet grace. Wiin, who laughed like rivers running free, who filled the empty halls with music. And their children, their laughter echoing down palace corridors, little hands grabbing at his cloak when he returned at dawn. He closed his eyes briefly, drawing strength from the memory of them. He had slain beasts all day, monsters that haunted forests and caves, creatures whose shadows could drown villages. That morning it had been a worm, its scales as black as burnt iron, rising from the cliffs like living smoke. Just leapt from his horse the moment he saw it, planting his boots in the dirt, his shield ready. The worm lunged, its teeth torn to steel, shrieking as sparks rained like meteors. Jess braced, his arms screaming under the weight, his heart pounding like the war drums of old age. But through the roar of it, he heard them, Wiin humming as she draped flowers over his helm. Young soft murmur, promise me you'll be safe, and Buell's teasing laugh, calling him reckless and calling him hers. He twisted hard, wrenching free, and his sword found a soft gap beneath its jaw. Fire rolled over him, burning his cheek raw, but he didn't falter. If I fall, they'll all be alone, he thought. The palace would go silent, Young's eyes would be heavy with grief, Win's laughter would dim, and Buell would rage at the world until it broke. He drove his blade deeper, shouting until the worm crashed lifeless into the ground, its breath a final plume of smoke curling to the heavens. He staggered there, staring at the sunset already dipping. I must return, I must see them, waiting for me on that bridge. He always returned before dusk, always. It was more than duty, it was a vow. Back in the palace, evenings were their sanctuary. Dinner was simple and quiet. Young pouring tea with steady hands, Buell stealing bites from his plate with a grin, Win leaning on his arm, humming melodies that lit the room brighter than chandeliers. Later, candlelight would guide him through silent halls where Young waited by the window in her palace robes, where Win teased him with soft songs as he polished his sword, perched over his shoulder like a mischievous spirit, her breath warm against his neck. This once for tomorrow, she'd say, waltz lilting, and sing notes that curled like ribbons through the air, each line a charm for his safe return. Buell would stride in laughing, tug him away from his chair, kiss him slow and rough enough to taste the laughter in her lips, muttering, "Don't die tomorrow or I'll kill you myself." But one night, he didn't come by sunset. Jess was fighting a hydra, erupted from the marsh in a spray of mocking reeds, six head weaving through the air like nest of vipers. Jess braced the shield as the first slammed into him, the sheer force driving him back a step. He gritted his teeth, swinging upward in one clean arc, veering ahead. It shrieked, and two smaller heads split from the stump. "If I fall here, they'll be alone." Buell will rage, Young will bear the silence, and wing songs will crack with grief and our children. Another head darted low, coiling for his leg. Jess pivoted, his blade flashing, cutting it away. The beast roared and struck again from every angle. He slammed his shield left, ducked right, feeling his muscles strain with every motion. He leapt onto a jutting rock, pushing himself upward for height. The hydra stuck, and he used its momentum to vault into the central neck, clinging tight. His blade plunged deep, and he shouted, "Voice, I have to see them again." The hydra thrashed violently, but Jess held firm, driving his sword down until its great body shuddered and collapsed. Panting, drenched in blood and sweat, he staggered free, glancing at the sky, already deepening toward violet. "I can still make it, they're waiting." With shaking legs, he trudged toward the fading sun, whispering, "I'm coming home." Then, when he arrived, he said, "Hydra," and he rasped, as if that explained the delay. "Took longer than I thought," he added. Young nearly collapsed into his chest, clutching him tight. Wing struck him lightly before clutching his arm, sobbing into his shoulder. Buell punched him square in the breastplate, then kissed him hard enough to hurt. He laughed against her lips, breath ragged. "See, always before the stars." And when the evening came, he was back on the bridge, waiting. The lanterns bloomed one by one across the water, glowing like scattered constellations. Hooves thundered again, and there they were. Buell riding first, hair wild in the wind, Young following steady, Win laughing behind them like bells. They dismounted, running the last stretch, and just opened his arms wide as the sun vanished, just in time, and he thought, as he always did, "This is all I ever had, and I'd want for nothing more." Now the epilogue. The Festival of Lanterns came the following week, a celebration decreed by Young herself, but born from the people's joy. The bridge, once only a place of waiting, now bloomed with colors silk, banners of crimson and gold draped from its rails, Lanterns bobbed on the river below like drifting stars, and musicians lined the path, their flutes and drums weaving bright threads of song through the air. Jess returned that evening, victorious from his latest hunt, his armor battered but gleaming in the torchlight. As he crossed the bridge, cheers rose like thunder from the gathered crowd, children waving wooden swords, old man bowing low, and young lovers clutching hands, smiling as if his homecoming belonged to them too. But Jess saw only three figures pushing through the throng. Buell reached him first, reckless as ever. Tossing decorum into the wind, she leapt into his arms, laughing loud enough to make the ministers chuckle, and kissed him with wild, shameless joy. The people roared their approval, their knight and his bold queen entwined in the glow of a lantern tree. Young followed, calmer but no less radiant, her silken sleeves trailing like pale clouds. She cupped his face gently, pressing a kiss to his brow, her lips warm against the scarred air. "Welcome home," she whispered, soft and steady, the kind of welcome he fought to hear every day. And then Ween, little Ween, whose laughter could split gloom in two, stepped forward with her lute in hand. She sang, her voice rose clear and bright over the music, sweet and playful enough to make even the coldest guard sway. The crowd clapped to their rhythm, and Jess couldn't keep and help but laugh, shaking his head at her grin. "Dance with me," Buell demanded, tugging him toward the music. Jess obliged, spinning her beneath the lantern glow, her hair catching the firelight like threads of starlight. The people clapped and cheered, their knights and these queens whirling beneath the river of sky and light, royalty dissolving into lovers before their eyes. When the music slowed, the three of them stood close, Buell's hand tangled in his, Young resting against his shoulder, Ween tucked at his side. The lanterns reflected in the water below like 1,000 promises, each one drifting farther but never fading. Just looked at them, then at the citizens cheering around them, and thought, if this is how they see us, if they see love instead of crowns, joy instead of duty, then perhaps the kingdom is safe after all. He raised his free hand, waving to the people, his voice carrying over the bridge. "I will always return for you all, but most of all, for them." And as the cheers erupted once more, Ween's song swelled. Buell laughed and tugged him close again, and Young kissed him under the lantern-lit sky. The river shimmered, and the bridge, his bridge, felt alive, not merely of stone and timber, but of every vow he had kept, every sunset he had crossed, every dream he dared to hold. He smiled, heart full, as the festival danced on into the night. For them, always for them. This piece is dedicated to my dearest sunshine, Kim Young-sun. Please show her your love and support on her channel, Solarcido. She's the heart behind so much of the light I share here. If you enjoy poems, short stories, and heartfelt journeys like this one, stay a while and see if any of my work resonates with you. I'd love for you to consider subscribing if you find a piece of your heart here. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what new story formats or poems you'd love to see. Your voice helps shape this growing storybook we're building here. Thank you for walking this world with me. Have a nice day.